It's time to pack that nullrune, kids, because after this weekend, the wizards are coming out to play. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hello, and welcome to Dice Commando, where I'm doing a horrible impression of trying to be a nullrune wizard or something. Whatever, no one ever said I was a cosplayer. Welcome, folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast. Thanks for checking in. So this last weekend's Pro Tour has come and gone, and there is nothing short of a million billion things to talk about. But I do think that one thing that surprised many people, myself included, was the prevalence and relative success of wizards into the CC meta as they caught many an unsuspecting player with their nullrune pants around their ankles. And yes, I do realize, it was only 7 of the field, but I think that's more than we thought there was going to be, right? So you got to love it, right? So it was a strong meta call, right, into the field at large, and I think that Wizards, well outperformed their expectations, at least mine. So I thought that was really cool to see, right? So typically after events like this, we often see a change at the local level as the trickle down of the well-performing decks start to make their way into the local metas. In this case, though, a lot of Wizard players have been waiting in the wings for a long time now, and the 1-2 punch of Icelander on the horizon combined with Kano's success last weekend, I believe has served as a shot in the arm, so to speak, that many Wizard wannabes needed to dive back in. So I believe that, between, like I said, 1-2 punch and I believe last weekend is going to serve as the call to action for many of those players to dedicate time from now until Uprising to learn, practice, and call down arcane damage. Rise up arcane damage? Whatever it may be, right? But it's coming at you. So hold on to your AB butts, folks, because this mini meta between now and the Uprising release is going to be the rise of wizards at your locals. Now, tonight's cast is sponsored by our friends over at FabDB. You guys know them, you guys love them. The best resource for everything Flesh and Blood related on the interwebs. You can do collection management over there, all sorts of that wizard theory crafting, deck building. And when you're over there, make sure to consider upgrading your account to unlock all the additional features that they have over there. Check it out. And again, I want to thank our friends over at FabDB, not just for sponsoring us here, but for continuing to be that tool that we all need for Flesh and Blood gameplay. I really love it. So in addition, I'm happy to announce that on top of the ongoing Heralds of Awesome 2, aka the Heralds of Rebirth giveaway, I've also been given a Fabled event package for the Uprising Las Vegas world premiere to give away to you, the Dice Commando community. And I have to be honest, I'm a little jealous of you guys since I can't, unfortunately, just magically select myself. And because this is a pretty sweet little deal, right? So the Fabled event package is a $150 USD 150 value. And it contains entry into both the Uprising world premiere and the Calling main event. Now remember, in this case, the Calling is the Team Blitz. Also has all 3 main event promos, 2 for the premiere and 1 for the Calling. It has a legendary Dragons of Volcor playmat exclusive to the world premiere, and 1 set of Dracona Optimi Dragon Shield sleeves, aka a whole bunch of really cool swag. And like I said, I am jealous. Now, since this one is all about the gameplay, real Flesh and Blood gameplay, I'm going to be doing the giveaway to someone who puts a qualifying comment on one of our gameplay videos that go up this week. So to be eligible for the Fabled event package, you must be a public subscriber, meaning that I can actually see if you're a subscriber or not. And you also must make a comment on one of our gameplay videos posted from May 14th to May 22nd, and the cutoff is Pacific Standard Time. Right after that, I will announce it. We'll get your name, we'll get it over there, and boom, Fabled entry package to Las Vegas. And maybe you can put $1 on red for me and see where it goes from there. So, all right, so getting into tonight, last weekend's meta call,
right? The people brave enough to do it. I absolutely love seeing stuff like that, right? It was in my opinion, it was a pure meta call. And it's the type of back and forth, like head games that I love to see really within like within that realm, right? And what's interesting about stuff like that is a lot of times those type of meta calls do pretty well into Swiss, which, if you go and you look at the numbers of, the first day to the second day type conversions, I mean, it was a pretty solid meta call. Like they did pretty well, right? It was 7 converted to 4. That's pretty good, right? If you're looking at the conversions of other heroes. And what's more about that, I mean, you guys know we've talked about conversion rates and all that, right? But either way, the number of wizards that was going into the weekend, I think, was a somewhat gutsy call. Did pretty well, right? Because as I mentioned above, they basically caught a lot of people without nullrune, right? There was one on stream early Friday to where the dude just didn't have any AB, right? And that's rough, right? But they were making a meta call. You may have out meta called them. Like I said, I love seeing stuff like that. I mean, you guys know I'm not a wizard player. I'm also concerned about the strength of wizard. I think wizard's one of those classes that is going to be really tough for them to balance, I think, in the long run. But it doesn't mean I don't love seeing high-level gameplay and people out. Whatever. It was perfect. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. It was perfect. Now, to my point of this was basically the emboldening call for a lot of wizard players to come out of not really retirement, but out of the sidelines, right? There's a lot of people who they've had their wizard deck, and it's maybe not the thing they bring to Armory every week, but when the Armory's over, maybe they bust it out and they play it. Those people, I think you're going to see a lot of those people bringing their wizard decks over the next couple of weeks. Now, maybe not, because now that everybody knows wizards, everybody's packing AB, right? So we'll see how it all goes. But you have the other factor of Iyslander, right? And granted, until Uprising comes out, that's only a Blitz statement. But you have 2 things happening here, right? You have the fact that we know Iyslander is going to be an adult hero in Uprising. So you have, I mean, in Blitz, they can already play her, right? But they'll be getting more reps for all the stuff that's going to come with her. But you're also going to have a fair amount of people saying, hey, you know what? I haven't played Wizard before. Iyslander is coming out. Maybe this is something I'm really interested in doing. Let's pick up some Kano stuff. Let's pull out my Kano stuff, whatever it may be. Let's get some wizard reps in. Let's start learning. Let's start practicing. Let's get the reps in. So I'll be ready to hit the ground running when Uprising comes out. So obviously we're in the Pro Tour season as well, basically already. I was really surprised the Pro Tour started the weekend that everything was happening, but time constraints are what they are. So we will see where that falls in Pro Tour. I mean, given that, we've got the LL stuff that we do, but it doesn't quite go into effect yet. Probably not going to see a ton of that at like the higher level competitive play. But I really suspect that at your armories, you're going to be seeing a buttload of wizard in all forms. And if your armories are Blitz, I think you have to worry about both of them, right? So, the answers there are, in Blitz, it's a little more simple. Just bring a bunch of AB, right? And, try and keep your cost curve a little low. I think that's pretty much that's pretty much the only advice I have right now for Iyslander is try to keep your cost curve low. And, it's interesting. So Sean, my buddy Sean and I were talking, he has a Kassai deck he's really big into right now in Blitz. And he ran into Iyslander and he was just like, man, he's like, all respect to the player, but I was ready to punch a wall after I got done playing that. He's like, all I could do was like swing for 2. And, something that we've talked about on here before, just stick with me. There's a thought process here, right? Something we've talked about here before was how so much of Kassai stuff is on her second swing. And, maybe it's time to consider on those Kassai decks trying to bring, because if you don't think you're going to get the second swing off, maybe you need to try and do stuff that's going to, so you don't want to front pump because then they can play it, like if you do a driving blade, then they can pop it and you can't swing. But if you get the swing in, then maybe you can try and come over the top, depending on how much you have depending on how much you have, right, from the Icelander ice control. Anyway, hopefully you get what I'm laying down there. But that's my point is, with Icelander coming and trying to disrupt you and, break all your stuff, you want to make sure that you swing and then can try and go on top of that with the frostbite that she throws at you instead of, not getting any attack in at all, right? So that's all I'm saying there. Now, from the other side, it's just really, and this applies to Icelander as well, right? But if you go back and you look at the Wizarding 101, 201, 301 episode that we had with Jason over at Outcast Haven, actually, funny story, he messaged me over the weekend. He's like, dude, I've had several people come up over the weekend and be like, man, thanks for doing that episode. I learned a lot about Wizard from that. So I thought that was really cool. It's nice to hear that, stuff that we do, and obviously using his expertise to have that conversation was valuable. But so a lot of people came up and, so my point is you can go back and look at that on what he's trying to do. And one of the things he mentioned in there was don't ever play all your stuff. And by that, he means hold stuff back. Because if I go boom, 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 and he's Kano and he's got it, right? Because you need to be able, in a lot of those cases, in CC especially, well, because several of them are gone in Blitz, right, for Kano. But in CC especially, if you can reduce the hit, if you don't reduce the hit of the first one, the effect is multiplied throughout the rest, right? So you want to make sure you always hold something, when you're playing Wizard, you always hold something back, you play conservatively so that you can make sure that you can not take the full brunt of what they want to throw at you. So that's a little bit of a way to prepare yourself against that wave. That said, maybe it's only going to be 4 weeks. It's a pretty short period. Maybe it's time to borrow somebody's deck, try playing it yourself, right? I mean, we've got a Wizard coming out of the next set. Maybe it's time to learn how to play it because Icelander control is going to be all up in everybody's grill come Uprising, right? Come late June. It's going to be a frosty summer. Well, it'll be winter time on the other side of the globe, I suppose, because that's how science works. I'm told. I've never actually been there to see it, but so I'm told. But how is that true if the world is flat? I don't know. That's a joke, folks. That's a joke. Anyway, it's going to be a frosty summer or frosty winter, I suppose, which side of the globe you're on. But getting yourself ready for that, I think, is going to be valuable. In either way you choose to do that, could be a lot of fun. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think it's going to be a Wizard kind of next couple of weeks and then maybe a frosty summer? What do you think? Or are you excited? Are you already busting out those? Did you already blow those cards off into the weekend and you're ready to go? Maybe you did. Maybe I'll see you on Saturday at Gongai Games, letting me take a buttload of AB or a buttload of Arcane to the face and not getting to play my card. So anyway, let me know, folks. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Last weekend was a crazy, crazy thing to see. Good job to everyone there. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching and go Commando. Oh, made it. Ugh.